Hello.
Hello, hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
So fine. Like today, Mike and I have I don't know if he's told you we have hosted the library, I guess.
Yeah, I saw.
So yeah, so it's a big thing that has been done, and also I have completed the C.ADM portal and I have hosted it on GitHub, and DevoWorm AI site has also been completed.
Okay.
So once everyone is in, I will show you a demo. So now we have a couple of questions regarding how the things has to be acknowledged. For example, when we have hosted the DevoLearn library, so right now we have given the email IDs of all of us three, like Mayuk, me, and you. So is it fine, or we have to give for the DevoLearn its email ID itself? So these are few questions that you have to address today.
I don't know yet. Well, we'll talk about it in the meeting. We'll actually walk through. I saw it. It looks very good. Congratulations, guys, on well, I'll wait till Maya comes in, but yeah.
There was little confusion for my on the setup.py file, so we started working on that yesterday, and today we have resolved almost all the errors that are there. Some dependencies are broken, some NN neural network models that were importing in class are broken, but today around 4 5 we have just given it a shot, and it's hosted well, I guess, right now.
Okay.
There are just some authorization issues, or how we have to proceed things, whom we have to give the access.
Okay. Moving A.
Hello.
We're just there's Mayuk. We're just talking about the new DevoLearn. Well, you weren't involved in this as much, but the new DevoLearn platform. We'll go over it in the meeting here.
Yeah.
So Mayuk, hello.
Yeah, hello there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. How are you guys?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay. Welcome to the meeting. I think we have enough to start the meeting. If other people come in, we'll just let them in. And but the first part of the meeting, I wanted to spend on the new DevoLearn implementation and everything else. So I kind of wanted to go over some things before we start in with updates. Let me share my screen. So this is for DevoWorm and people who aren't in the meeting. I wanted to go over the naming process and everything. So I put up a survey in Slack and in our weekly email, and I got a couple of responses, and then a couple of responses offline. So this is the sort of the voting pattern here. I gave a couple options. I gave DevoLearn. I kind of threw that in, and then some other ones, and it seems like 50% of people like DevoLearn, some people like DevoWorm AI, some people like OpenDevoCell. So that's good. That was something that was sort of a consensus there. And then I had a couple other people saying that DevoLearn was a nice name. And so I decided to go with that. I just thought, yeah, that would be kind of catchy. And so we hosted it. This is the stuff that that Mayuk and Ujjwal have been working on all summer. Then we were thinking about putting together a logo for it. So this is one attempt at a logo. This is another attempt at a logo here. This is actually from Ujjwal. So this is a nice.
Made by Ujjwal.
Yeah. This is well, this stylized microscope here for the D, and then you have the DevoLearn in different colors, and you have a head here representing cognition, and the different colors are for the diversity of the group. And then we have DevoWorm GIF, so that's a GIF animation of this. Then we have DevoLearn text. So this is a simpler version of DevoLearn. It has black text, and again the stylized D, and then the banner, which is the plain DevoLearn with some text underneath. And so I have
it just changed today, right?
Yeah, I changed it a little bit.
This one, yeah, it changed. It's different on the Readme right now. Just the sentence below is different. It's slightly different.
Yeah.
It's the same meaning basically, but a more broader perspective.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys, Ujwal and Mayok, for doing the logos. I was impressed with the range of logos, and we can use these in different contexts. So we might use one for. Actually, we don't even have the one that we have up on the GitHub repository, but that's okay. It's just, different variations of it we can use for different things. So I'm very, very impressed. Thank you. So then there's this, we created an organization on GitHub, DevoLearn, and this is, of course, another version of the logo. This is the organization here. It's github.com DevoLearn. And so we have people you can join to be, well, I have like 5 contributors right now. If it makes sense for you to join, let me know, and I'll invite you to the group. Basically, this is just for people to work on the code underlying this application. And so we're doing this from GitHub. Well, we're doing it from GitHub and PyP, which we'll talk about in a minute. But this is the GitHub organization, and it's just where most of the code is hosted. There's some contribution guidelines.
It's on the top.
Which one?
Yeah, I had a question.
Yeah.
On this, like the media repository. What is it for?
Oh,
I see a repository called media.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. So the contribution guidelines are here, and this is just if you want to contribute to the project. So contributing to DevoLearn, and this is something that Ujwal and Mayok have just come up with this week. So we might make changes to this as we go through, over time. It was just something that they got from a template. So I think Mayok said that they got this from a template.
Yeah, it was from the template of another very popular organization, Atom, which is a very popular text editor. It's also on GitHub.
Okay.
So we basically use their format. It's very popular. Almost every organization uses that format. So I've kept a similar format. But we can make changes, obviously.
Yeah. And so this is, just read through this if you're interested in contributing. This is a standard, contribution guidelines. If I want to join DevoLearn Slack, we have the Slack channel in the OpenWorm Slack. It used to be you get so many channels, people don't know where anything is, and so I just changed the name of that, and we'll use that channel for talking about this anything related to DevoLearn, like kind of working on the platform, or maybe some sort of machine learning initiative that we want to grow from this. So there's going to be that sort of conversation going on that channel. And then you can contact any one of the 3 of us. So we're pretty active on GitHub. If you have a question or you want to make a contribution, like a pull request, make a pull request and then maybe ping one of us, and one of us will probably be able to merge that. And so that's if you want to contribute. And then what should I know before I get started? So it's always good to, before you just start contributing to a project, know kind of what the aims are. It's never good to kind of do something and then it doesn't fit into the organization. I've never rejected a pull request necessarily, but if you think about it, there's a good chance that will happen at some point if you contribute to an open source project. So what do the DevoWorm models do? So the models at DevoWorm can be used to collect various types of useful data from videos, images of embryos, which can be used for statistical analysis. Or if you're feeling crafty, you can use the metadata for another deep learning model. So we were talking about pre-trained models, and this is part of what we're doing here, but you can also, we can reuse what we've got in terms of data and in terms of code in different ways. So if we have an idea of something we want to recombine, that's going to be, this is going to be where this platform becomes fruitful. At DevoWorm, we want to create a collection of robust deep learning models which can be used very easily for research and analysis of various biological processes. So the models are all based on PyTorch. We'd prefer PyTorch to be used for your model just because of interoperability. But I think, we can expand it beyond PyTorch. But we want to make sure that we keep everything. It might make sense to, if we expand beyond PyTorch, to make that clear to users. Like, this is our PyTorch library, and then we might
like the more DevoWorm grows, what happens is that there would be more contributors who would be based on TensorFlow. Like there's this another option that is TensorFlow, which I think Vinay Bhaiya, he worked on TensorFlow and Keras. So even if they come out, we can use TensorFlow, but it's just for the sake of uniformity. I think PyTorch is preferred, and and PyTorch is, in my opinion, more versatile, and it's gaining more traction than TensorFlow lately. So it will be soon the most popular platform.
It will also help us to maintain the dependencies of the library. Like if you are getting more and more models like TensorFlow, PyTorch, and all of these things, so whenever you are installing the library, you have to install all that models at once.
Both of those packages, and PyTorch in itself is like 1.2 GB.
Yes.
So like PyTorch is a dependency for DevoWorm. So on top of that, if someone adds a model from TensorFlow, we have to install both PyTorch and TensorFlow, which is a really, really large package. So PyTorch is kind of preferred for now. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me make a note here. Yeah. So I think that's good. Okay, so this is Vinay's comment. Just pointed out a Readme template here. Some inspiration for a pretty good Readme. The existing one is excellent as well. So this is other Neil Drew. This is the just a template, I guess, for a Readme. So yeah, this is good. This is very clean and kind of talks about how to sort of lay out the project. So thank you for that, Vinay. So let's see. Let's go back to the contribution guidelines. Okay, so that's good, and maybe we'll make it.
Yeah, actually, I had a thing to say. It's that the contribution, regarding the contribution guidelines, me and Ujjwal were actually talking about this contribution guideline thing, and we were kind of biased towards the decision that we should keep this page, the contribution guidelines web page. It should have one readme.md that would lead to different contribution guidelines for different repositories. Like Ujjwal has one repository for the web page, right, the web app, and another one is DevoWorm. So I actually, the contribution guidelines that you're seeing right now, it's actually copy pasted from another one which is like inside the DevoWorm repo, which is much more updated right now. So I think we should keep like different contribution.md files for different repositories just to keep things compartmentalized. Like if someone is interested into contributing for DevoWorm, he does not necessarily want to go through the clutter that is there for the web app. He just wants to see what he needs to see for DevoWorm, right?
Yeah.
So like instead of creating multiple contribution, and like first of all, like what was the thought is like we are creating multiple contribution.md files for different repos inside this one repo. It is not like on the same contribution, but rather than doing this, we can like
should just keep that file on the repo itself and link to it on the readme top, like on the top contents.
But like the point is like when you are onboarding the newcomers, you don't want to like get them. Well, like yes, I think we can do that as well. So yeah, there is no problem. Like we can can keep that contribution guidelines, and we can just give link
Yeah, because
to
the first
all
thing that the
the.
newcomers would do is that they'll just open up the repo. And if they see that how to contribute link on the contents, they'll just click that and read that. So for different repos, we can just
Yeah,
keep
so
it
like
different. Like it will be less messy,
what we can
I
do
think, that way.
what we can do is like we can give a very basic idea of all the repo that are being there, very basic idea, like only a one paragraph or something, and we can just link it
Yeah,
to the
exactly.
repo itself where
It
there is
should
a
be a tree.
contribution
Yeah, it
element.
should be a tree.
Yeah, yeah. I think we can do that. We will do
Yeah.
that, I guess.
Yeah.
I
So, I
think
mean,
Visual
that's,
is handling that repository. So I think Visual can reformat it.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's handling that one.
So I mean, that's something we can do in the future. Like I said, there's also another project this fall that we'd like to do on documentation. So that's like almost a separate thing for the long term. But this is very good. I think the idea, and then if you have other ideas on how to improve the documentation, that would be good. So then we have this. This is a nice introduction of what people. How do I add my own model? How do I make a code contribution? Suggesting a model, and then get commit messages. So that's okay. So that's all. That's there, and then that's good. And then we go to the media folder, which was something that Mayuk asked about.
Yeah, what is that about?
Okay. So actually, there's too much build up here because it's just files that we use for different things. So this is location for media, pictures, animations, not directly associated with the code base. So right now,
Like the visualizations.
It could be,
like,
yeah.
Or maybe slides or presentations, maybe.
Yeah. So there's Jesse.
Like if we someday, like some of the other day, we'll be presenting on this thing, right? So we can put those slides here.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. We can put our
Okay, I get it now.
slides there.
I'm not sure what's in here right now, but yeah, you can put them in. Put them in the regular way. Just any sort of slides or images or anything that you want to put in here, you can put them in here.
Yeah.
So that's the DevoWorm organization, and that'll be growing. And we'll be revising it as we go. But I'm gonna then go to the PyP. So this is where the project lives on PyP, which is it's like a hosting thing for applications. It's like Heroku app. We were using Heroku app for Vinay's project last year, but we're going to use PyP for this platform. And this is where you can download the files. You can view the release history and then the description here, which is where we have our sort of a summary of the GitHub project repository, or the organizational repository. And this is the README from one of the repositories, one of the READMEs in one of the repositories. So this is basically, it looks like Mayuk's notebook that he was working on and just kind of put into this README.
Yeah, but it's not a notebook, it's just the README.
Yeah, it's just a README, but it's...
You changed my perspective. Yeah, it looks like a notebook.
So then you go, so basically it just walks you through the segmentation of the C. elegans embryo, importing the model, running the model on an image, viewing the prediction, and finding the centroids, and then generating synthetic images. So you put this up with a pre-trained GAN. So this is something I think we talked about, I think last week, where he had built a GAN that will sort of generate a bunch of synthetic embryos, and then you look at the ones that are where the error is minimized, and you get this embryo. And so that's in there as well. Then predicting populations of cells. So this is the graph of the different families of cells, or the sublineages in the embryo. And the graph here, this is an animation of it, but basically it allows you to do that. Making predictions from a video and saving the predictions in a CSV file. So all of this can be exported as a CSV file. And then we have statistics. We have the license and MIT license. That's good. I think that's suitable for software. I know we use the Creative Commons license more generally, but I think for software we can use the MIT license. That's what they do in OpenWorm for a lot of software applications. So this is, then it tells you the prerequisites. So if you actually go up to the downloads, we have a wheel file and then a tar.gz package that you can download. And this tells you more about installing the packages. So this looks good. Yes, this also looks very good. Any comments on this?
Yeah, so first of all, that looks very good actually. The PPI readme file, because like when there's a demo, I think more people will be. It'll be more interesting for people who just look at it for a short period of time, and they can try this model at once. So I think great work there.
Yeah, it looks very good. Vinay says, "Wow, it looks awesome." Yes, the pipe readme. That's good. Yeah, I think we'll have to make a couple of tweaks like this. Might change this to this, or we might. Yeah, I don't know. There might be some other things that you want to change on it. I would go through it and make some edits, or make some. If you want to go through and give suggestions for edits, I don't know if we caught everything. We might want to make.
Yeah, what you guys can do is that you can just update the README for the DevoLearn repo inside the DevoLearn org. Because this is basically the readme.md file from the DevoLearn org. So whatever changes you make there, soon I'll set up a workflow so that like whenever I make a new release to GitHub, it will automatically be updated to PyPy. Like now what is happening is that I'm basically using my own laptop as a it's basically the host. Right now what's happening is that whatever changes you guys are doing on the repo, I'm just pulling it on my local machine, then I'm uploading it to PyPy as a new release. But later I'll just remove this middleman, that is my laptop, and directly we can just set up a release pipeline through GitHub only. I'll be working on that pretty soon, so that whenever we do a release on GitHub, like after n commits, we can just release it directly from there. We don't need a laptop as a the middle thing. Yeah.
Also, we can also add something like as the DevoLearn Grow, we can add like Jenkins and all these kind of tools which are there in GitHub.
Yeah, exactly. It's already I'll talk about it on during my update.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the README that he's referring to. This is in the DevoLearn. It's like DevoLearn, and then there's a DevoLearn repo inside the organization. And then that's where a lot of the code is hosted, but there's a README in here, and that'll actually come up when you go to that main repo page. And then if you want to edit it, you go to this pencil icon, and it'll allow you to edit the text. If you're outside of the contributors, you can make a pull request, of course, and then we can review what the changes are and accept it. This is good. I think I like the idea of having the little sort of animations and then kind of giving people a taste of what it is, so that they get a sense of what it is before they breaking down the what's in the repository like this. It's very good. I think that's a good 3 things that we have that we talked about. We talked about the movement model, and so that's independent.
Yeah, we could add more as time goes.
Yeah.
I'll explain about it during my time when I show you guys about my work.
Okay.
It's usually scalable.
Yeah. So why don't we do some short updates then, if you guys want to. Which one, Mayok? 5 minutes.
I'll start then.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just present a tab. So can you guys see the contributing to DevoWorm?
Yes.
Yeah. So in this this is the one. This is on a different path. You might notice this is on inside the DevoWorm folder. So this is inside DevoWorm.github. So this is where we can create issue templates, and inside issue templates, like if someone what happens is that imagine someone uses our model and but gets a very unexpected kind of a prediction. So what he can do is that he can use this template to raise an issue. I made this template so that it's easier for us. URL of the input data, they can include that. They can include a screenshot of the bad prediction, whatever it is, or they can just email the predictions. Or if they have knowledge about it, they can give us a possible reason, which could be the model did not train any images with random white patches, but the input images has those. So, and also the environment, because this matters sometimes, whether he's on collab or a local machine. So they can use these guidelines to give us, obviously one or the other day our models might fail on some kind of input data, right?
Yeah.
Because these models are not some kind of a perfect thing. So this is kind of ready out there. Other than that, this is an updated version of the contributing.mp that Bradley showed. So I'll just show the parts which are different. The part which is different is this photo. I'll just open this photo. Can you see this? Wait, yeah. So this is kind of a photo, a flowchart that I made for myself while I was building DevoWorm. So, but this pretty much explains it very well what's going on. So this is basically the DevoWorm source. Can you guys see my cursor?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is my DevoWorm source, and then there are basically three classes right now. Embryo segmenter, which is the one on the top that you could see, which could do those centroid things. Embryo generator model, the GAN, and the lineage population model, which basically predicts the populations. So the problem that I was facing was that while I was uploading it to test.pypy.org, it's like PyPy, but it's slightly different. It's just there for testing. So when I was uploading there, the problem that I was uploading the whole thing. I was uploading all these 4 blocks, which are there on the GitHub source. But then it wasn't working out because the limit was 100 MB. And the models were making it exceed 150 MB, it was around 180 MB, I guess. So it wasn't viable because PyPy was not allowing me. So then what I did was that I had to find a workaround. Now what we are now it's around 20 KB. How is that? Now what I'm doing is that when you are doing pip install DevoWorm, it's just downloading the code base. It's not downloading the models. It's downloading the models when I'm importing the model. If the model doesn't exist on the path, it can just download wget.download model URL, and the models, and these models, they exist on GitHub. I'll just show that. They're inside DevoWorm, inside the main folder, there are 3 classes, and inside each class there is the main file, the Python file, the Python class, it contains all the utils for that specific model and the model file. So this model is what gets downloaded when the person imports, when that person imports the certain model. So it's a workaround. So we can upload the models more often without making a release on PyPy. Because making releases too often is kind of annoying for people. They'll get those warnings a new version is available. So instead of we are not updating the code base very often. We are just updating the models. So the models are independent from PyPy. They're not even there on the PyPy package. The models are there on only GitHub. Yeah. So that's kind of it. And other than that, I'll just move on to the next thing. This part, what it explains is how each class is structured. You saw 3 folders here, right? Inside each folder, I just made a small guide. Inside each folder, this is inside the embryo generator model folder. There are 3 parts. One is the Python file, there's the model file, and the init.py, which is required for importing. And then if someone wants to add a new model, they can just use this kind of a template, your model name, with that same name preferably, because here is different anyways. I'll just give a new naming convention later on. That's a different story. Yeah. So they can just use this kind of a guide to really verify whether or not they're in terms with our structure of the project. And they can also see this thing, as always, yeah. And then I just move on to, yeah, so that's kind of it. Bradley basically said everything that I had to say today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. Thanks for the looking at that other folder. There's a little bit more information in there about the platform. Now, Ojwal, do you have an update?
Live run if you want.
What was that? Okay.
I'll just share the screen and show you.
Okay.
Let me. Are you sharing your screen or let me share your screen?
I'm sharing it.
He's gonna share first as well, and then.
Yeah. See. So there's this button called Open Collab now. So what happens is that basically when you press it, you just get into this collab notebook, which like anyone can run. Like you don't need any kind of no one has to be an expert to do this. Everyone knows collab. So anyone can just this is an example notebook. This is like a showcase notebook where all of the things are like showcased. Like you can just run pip install. I'll just run it actually. Let's see if it works. Yeah. It just pip installed the package right now. It happens very quick because it's just 20 KB because there are no models. Then I can just clone my own repository for sample data. It already exists on the runtime. So anyways, so I'll just import. What happens is that when I run this cell, the next one, what happens when I run this is that if the model doesn't exist, it will download the model from GitHub, from our repository. But if the model already exists, it will just initiate it. That's it. And there's another issue I think you might have noticed. This could be a project later on. Like currently, it only supports mode equals to CPU. But CPUs are pretty slow compared to GPUs. Right now, whatever the things that the models are doing, they're doing it completely on the CPU. But we can extend it for like a GPU support, so that they can get things faster. We can just do model that predict and then some image path and it can predict. And other than that, if there's some kind of a video, then we can also run, as you can see, it's kind of slow on videos. It's doing it frame by frame. And also there's this I just gave it for debugging. I had to remove the sprint statement. It skips some frames. If some frames are corrupt in videos, right? Especially the last frames on videos are generally not taken by OpenCV. So those corrupt frames are removed. The last frame of this video file is 389th frame, so that's removed. Because the last frames are pretty they give a lot of errors. And I don't think the last frames matter a bit too much. That's kind of a thing. So it just takes time, it's still at 260, you can see it, right? It's happening at 7 frames a second.
Right.
But this will become more than maybe 20 frames per second if it's on the GPU. So that's kind of a big issue right now. It's slow because it's on the CPU. But it is possible to move it to the GPU, and that's it will take some time, but we might do it, or it could be another project as well.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a week's worth of testing and doing to move it to the GPU. Yeah. So after I can just run these, but it takes time, so I just won't run. So you can directly from a video file, you can directly get a plot like this, which gives you the population graph of each embryo. You can just write the video file's name, the local path, the video, embryo timelapse.move. And save plot is true, then if save plot is true, then it can be saved with this plot name, as plot.png inside a folder sample threads. And I've also given this thing, ignore last n frames. If someone wants to not use the whole video and wants to ignore the last few parts. Because sometimes the last parts are black or some kind of a label or some the company's logo maybe. Those things are there in those embryo videos. So we can ignore the last 10 frames to just avoid those errors. Right. Then again, if you can see in the sprint statement model not found, downloading from this URL, and this is the URL that's there on GitHub. So it downloads the model whenever it was not found, and then it can just add this one is called the GAN, this is the GAN, right? So it just generates pictures like these. So these are some more, and you can even generate any images. N is 20, so it will generate 20 images inside the folder generated images. And each would be of size 700 by 500. That is weight, height. I just gave this for reference. I really get confused for width and height. So after that, you can just view these pictures with this kind of boilerplate code. That's it. Yeah, and then again, it's whenever it's not getting a model, it's downloading it from GitHub. Whenever it's not there, it only happens once. Like the first time you install it on your laptop or whatever your machine, the first time you install it, it will download those models whenever you call those classes. And after that, it will just use that downloaded model. And after that, like I'm just using the segmentation model this time, and it's segmenting like, no, this is already the segmented image. I could just show this image as well. Let me just try that 1 second. Just compose for reference. Anyways, like yeah, so this was the original image. So from this original image, like it's segmented and made this kind of a result from the model. And after that, like we also can hit, like here centroid mode is false. So it just generates a probability map. This is a probability heat map. All these parts are 0 and these parts are 1s or near 1s. And after that, we can just use centroid mode equals to true. So that what it does is that it just extracts those centroids and it returns two things. It returns the segmentation prediction and also it returns the centroids. Like I'll just run this again in case. And then we can just print centroid and see what are the centroids. Like yeah, these are the centroids, like the coordinates x and y for like each of these centroids that are seen. Each of these contours. Yeah, so that is one thing. And then there's like, we can do it for videos as well again. And we can save those segmented images into folders like this using save folder. And centroid mode is again, it's also supported in the video mode. So you can just basically save those frames like this, or you can use the centroid mode and save them like this, and you can access them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the demo.
Okay. Well, that looks pretty good.
Even like anyone can run it. It's up there on the Readme link.
Yeah. Thank you.
So if anyone wants to try it out before installing, they can do that through this notebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the point of making this.
Yeah.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Yeah. So first of all, like I was going through the C.elegance DevoWorm repository. So it is basically the implementation of what Readme sir and Mayur has just said, like the library and all these things. So basically, it is a web app that can be used for both in the local system and as well as on the server. So like it is a little readme.md for this. So it is the web app to support C.elegance part. So this is the what it is like, how the researchers are going to benefit by using this. So this is the repository tree where each and every file is being listed, so that whenever the new contributor is coming, he knows like where he has to save a particular file or where he has to change the particular files. He don't have to search much. So this is the entire repository tree, which will be growing as we are adding more and more things. How to use it? So they are. This is going to be completely online too, which I have to add. Like I have some questions that I'm going to ask later. So like there is a DevoWorm AI Center project and all these things. So like then it goes to like how can I use it on a local machine. So there are some predefined steps that you have to follow and you can simply use it. So there is a version info and like you can join this OpenWorm Slack as well if you have any doubts. So this is pretty much about C.DevoWorm repository. It has been like all the things like to improve the GitHub repository health, like MIT license and all these things have been added. I have to add the issue template that I am going to be done like by tonight. So this is basically the tool that we are using. So it is right now hosted on a local server of mine. So whenever you click on the intro button, so it gives you a basic intro about what C.elegance is. What are the different phases of segmentation are there, like fertilization, proliferation, castrulation, etc. So it is just to give the basic idea like what the C.elegance embryogenesis process and what are different type of processes are being carried out here. Like these are the definitions that are being referenced from WORM Atlas, so you can like visit here to learn more about them. After that, the library part that we are doing. So Mayur has pointed out like the logo is looking a bit flashy, so I'm going to use the minimal version of logo. So I will definitely do it. then how you can install it. And this is basically I have linked again the Readme file, whatever changes I'm making on Readme, it is going to be made here. So these are all like the things that Bradley and Mayuk has already described, like how to import models, running models, and all those things. So this is pretty much it. After that, like here you can try it online, so you can choose your files and you can upload it, and it will show you the outputted result. I don't have file right now to segment here on my PC. In this PC, I have the system I Ubuntu or Mac OS. So like it is basically you can do it like if you have cloned the repository, you can do it. It is segmenting like as shown in the library. And these are the point of contacts that are being the maintenance of this library which are there, and you can reach them out like any of us if you have any kind of trouble you are facing, or you can create an issue if you are familiar with uh, GitHub, or you can just ping any of us. We will try to resolve it as soon as we can. So this is basically about C.elegant segmentation models. I'm going to create. Sorry, like this is segmentation spelling is wrong here. These kind of typo is going to be fixed before it is going to be hosted. So my first question is like, what should be the name of this portal? Like it should like here I have written, if you can see, DevoWorm. So it should be DevoWorm, DevoLearn, DevoWorm AI. So this is the first question that I have.
Well, why don't we use DevoLearn just to make it consistent?
Yeah. You should make it like uniform.
So it will be
recall like what I think Ujjwal said, recall value or something like that.
Yeah. So it is DevoLearn. So I'm going to do it as DevoLearn. And the bottom part is like powered by OpenWorm Foundation. I think we should keep it because like and we have given the DevoWorm group as a copyright holder here. I have added the license for the DevoWorm group.
Which is not the copyright symbol, but it's the Creative Commons license.
Yeah,
we can talk about that.
Okay. So I'm not familiar with like copyright and what is the difference.
Yeah, Ujjwal, I had a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that like whenever you're running it on local machine right now, as I can see. But the thing is, the video that's in the background, would it load? Like if it doesn't load fast enough, it would look kind of odd. Like when someone.
Yeah.
So we should keep in mind to keep it light. Like we don't necessarily need the best resolution, but it should load fast. Otherwise, it should look a bit odd.
Yeah. So that thing has
these games are kind of big. Like
that thing has been considered, and this is not a video; it is a GIF image, and I have hosted it on the AWS server. So whatever you are seeing right now here is hosted from it's fetching from the real time from AWS server. So AWS servers give you a little bit faster image rendering than the itself, and it is not a very heavy image as it might look. It is only about some.
Yeah, just make sure. I don't know if it's heavy or not. Just make sure they're light.
Yeah. That thing has been considered.
Yeah.
So then the first. Thanks. So first thing that I want to like wrap it up like as soon as I can. So the first thing that I have to do change here is like instead of this I am going to do it as DevoLearn. So this is thing I have noted. So any other suggestion on this?
Just the spelling and C. elegans, which is with a and then
and maybe the font size, like the font size just below the heading.
Make it a little bit bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of. I don't know if it's my laptop or like I don't know how it will look on. Like if you make the window half, so it will become too small. Like right now you're on full screen, right? But if you half down the window, it's kind of small. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. Like
okay, no, it's dynamic. So yeah, this will do. This will do.
Okay, so like I'll look into this. Next thing that I have to ask, like it is being. So here it is a main portal which is going to connect each library implementation on the web app. So what should be the name of this? This is the main portal. This is like consisting of all the things that we have done, like DevoLearn, Basileia, image segmentation general, DevoZoo, Devo methods, and all these things. So this should be named as DevoWorm AI, or this should be named as something else.
I guess we could use DevoLearn for this as well.
We could just make it. It's just a suggestion. We could make it DevoLearn.ai maybe.
Oh, maybe, yeah, that would be good.
DevoLearn AI.
Yeah, like .ai.
Okay, so,
like, yeah.
Okay. So DevoLearn.ai. This is the thing that I'm going to do with this.
Okay.
So another question is like, should I host it as DevoLearn.github.io or DevoWorm.github.io/DevoLearn.ai?
The first one.
Okay, so DevoLearn.github.io. So like you have to change the repository name. Like you can do at DevoLearn_library. Because for that I need that name.
Yeah.
Is it not possible to make it to that specific? Like, is it not possible to redirect the user to that URL whenever someone types? I'm completely new to web. I don't know how web works. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there.
Like you are not purchasing. Like you can't. You have to, like, if you want to redirect someone from typing something, so you have to like purchase it. So you can do whatever you want. But if you are using DevoLearn.github.io, so you need, like, GitHub has that protocol that your name of the website should be same as the username.
Yeah.
So it is pretty much like something you can't do anything.
So let me just think, like, DevoWorm, and under that there's DevoLearn. But this website contains not just DevoLearn, but a lot of non-DevoLearn stuff as well. That is the DevoZoo. So I think it's a bit off context to, like, I'll take back my statement here. It's a bit off context to name it DevoLearn.ai. Because there's DevoZoo. That's not a part of DevoLearn right now.
Like, you are not understanding, like, whatever you have done in the C.elegance, this is not the only part of DevoLearn that we are going to do. Wow. They are going to be certainly added many new models and many new databases as things progress. So what they're doing at the first as DevoWorm AI is now become a DevoLearn. That's the only difference, I guess, there is.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, it's hosting all the things that are, like, other than the DevoLearn library and the web app itself, all the other things that this website is hosting is DevoWorm stuff, not necessarily DevoLearn stuff.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. We can put it under that.
Because it's kind of a hassle to change the repository name right now. So, because it's already registered on PyPy and I have to make some changes. Like, I don't even know where I have to make the changes. It will be confusing right now.
Well, no, leave it as DevoLearn. I mean, we can figure out the name for this later. I mean, I don't know what the technical aspects of it are, but
like, Mike, if you are on your laptop and you just try, like, go into the settings of your repository and change the name just to see, like, if things are breaking up, we can definitely
things won't break right now, but things will break when, like, it's on PyPy package, like, because PyPy is somehow dependent. Like, there are even I don't know where it might break, so I'm kind of paranoid right here.
Yeah, I don't want to touch this now.
I think it's kind of, we don't want to touch it. Yeah, so it's kind of better to go with DevoWorm.ai. It's fine, and just give one splash page where it's DevoLearn inside DevoWorm.ai.
We can do that.
Yeah, that's because we don't really want to change things right now.
Like, I think, like, this is the C.elegance page, and we can just rename it as DevoLearn, and we can keep DevoLearn for C.elegance itself. Whatever we are doing,
exactly.
Whatever we are doing, like, in the future itself, on C.elegance are going inside DevoLearn. Another models we can do it as separate something.
No, not necessarily. We can do other models obviously inside DevoLearn.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of datasets on human embryos. We could work on those as well if they are kind of on track with DevoWorm. I don't know if they're very on track, but it's, after all, it's analysis, right? We can. Like, DevoLearn might not always have to be about C. elegans.
Yeah.
It could also be about other embryos as well. We are trying to accumulate a lot of good models which researchers can use on embryos. So that's kind of the. So let's see.
Like, I'm now a little confused.
Well, no, it's just that, like, if you're doing C. elegans, any of these models are sort of under DevoLearn, like, because you're just using this as the platform where we're taking all the models and we're kind of incorporating them into one thing. But then this is the portal that allows us to not only view that new platform, but then all these other things that we have, like the DevoZoo and other things. So the question is do we want to have this umbrella called DevoLearn and then the platform called DevoLearn as well, or do we want to have the umbrella called DevoWorm AI, which is because there are other things that are non-AI in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'll have to draw it out and maybe this weekend and figure it out. Because
we have to make a good a tree of where's what.
So should I keep it as DevoWorm AI?
Just for now, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, for now it's completely fine.
Okay. So one thing is solved. So there's the C.elegance part where you can just click it, and whenever the model is hosted, I will host it today. So we can visit that model and do our stuff. Then this is the Basileia model. So basically, Basileia model, there's a bit of difficulty while hosting it. So I think I have to make a GitHub repository for it as well, because it is a very heavy model. There are many heavy libraries that are being used inside it. It is not used based on a single library. So hosting it might require some tweaks here and there. I will do it, but right now I have to do a lot of stuff here, because it is also exceeding our limit that we have on Heroku app. And the Python anyway that Vinam AI suggested, I read it about it thoroughly, and I have asked some people who have used Python anywhere in their project somewhere, and they all have said it is not basically very reliable. They have said literally they have said there's a very high downtime there. So there's a thing that is bugging me a little, and other than that, they have said it is completely flexible for Python and Flask apps. It is most suitable for that. So this is the thing that I'm considering right now. So general segmentation model is I think someone in this group has said something about it. He wants to do work with it, but I have not seen anything. So I have started working on it right now, and I will soon host. It will either make it a web app or make it Google Colab notebooks, and I will soon integrate it. This is the thing that have been done. DevoZoo and DevoWorm Matters. The page has been created. Just we have to link it. DevoWorm Academy. So DevoWorm Academy is, I have to just get a quick update on that. Is it still in progress? Should I keep it here or should I remove it?
No, this is good. You can keep it like this. I think this is good. We'll have to go through the links though, make sure that they're current, because I had to move some of the content around. But I think it is already updated, so it's Google Classroom. So I think it is.
Okay.
And so, I think we should. Yeah.
So all the things that have been said, to make it non-flashy, I have given them a pinkish tone everywhere. So I have tried to use more similar colors rather than using different red, blue, green, etc. So it is very less flashy right now. So there's the history of the DevoWorm group and all these things. This is the number of packages. I have to add library itself here and the achievements. So I will do that, and also update the papers.
Yeah.
Then this is the founder page. It is very much bluish at first. I have to tone it down to make it a little less flashy. And all the team members are listed here. All the team members are listed here, as you can see. So after that, there's the contact us page. So if you remember, this is a very flashy GIF which is going on and on, red GIF on the black background, which is looking very. So I have tried to tone it down as well. So this is the update on DevoWorm AI. I have uploaded it on the GitHub, and I will start making documentation of it and keep connecting it all over again and again, with the different things.
Okay.
So apart from that, so what I have got from, if anyone has any suggestion about it,
looks good to me.
Hello. Hi, Joe.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. First of all, your work was really very, creative, and it was really great. Can you add parallax effect to your sliding pages? I think it should look quite well. There is an effect known as parallax effect. For example, when you are sliding from one page to another, if you can, if it's possibility of you to incorporate, it would look better, I guess.
Like
Hello?
if you are talking something, like if you are talking something about this, uh, like if like this is the kind of a scroller which has a parallax effect, which whenever you are
Yeah.
scrolling up, it turns to
Yeah, yeah,
left.
yeah.
Like this thing I have considered at the first, but then it is not like a creative website, to be honest. Like
It should be
that
too much
thing,
helpful for the eyes.
yeah. This is
This
something
should
that is
be
my
helpful.
portfolio, so I have to show like how creative I am in all this designing and research stuff. But like this is a formal website which has to be created. So like doing a parallax effect here as well, it becomes a studio website rather than a machine learning and education website, I guess. So that's the only reason I have been restricting myself from adding parallax effect here. Like if everyone is agrees with it, like I can do some work on it.
What is the Twitter? Like I can see a Twitter badge on the right. So what is the Twitter handle that
These
you will
are
be linking to?
right now I haven't linked anything, but most probably I will be linking Orthogonal Lab or OpenWorm. These are the two Twitter handles that
Okay.
I have been aware
Okay.
of.
Fine.
Well, that's very good. Thank you as well. If you have any comments about the design, again, we've been doing this long-term sort of feedback on it, so that's good.
Like it's a last question I have. Like the name of this app is seed.elegance hyphen DevoWorm, right? .herokuapp.com. Let me just type it.
We might not say C. elegans. We might just say. Well, let me think about the copy on this. What we actually wanted to say, because it's we're a little bit beyond, because we already have bacillary in there. We have other things, so we might not use C. elegans segmentation. We might say like, we
But
might
only
just
this
use.
segmentation part. Only this segmentation part. This
Well,
URL.
we're
Like
actually doing even things beyond that. So, I'm just trying to think of what we might use.
what I am thinking is like making a C.elegance segmentation model different than the Basileria and gender segmentation model. These are three different models that are being hosted on different IP addresses on Heroku app, which are commonly linked through this website. Like for example, if we name this as C.elegance segmentation, then this will be reach out from here.
Oh, okay.
Same with if we handle Basileria model, this will be reach out from here.
Okay.
So this will keep us in the free limit of Heroku app. Like our limit will not be exceeded.
Okay. Well, then we can just do it that way, I guess.
So,
that'll be fine. But
Ujjwal, are you using the library itself for segmentation?
I can't hear you. Can you speak it again, please?
Are you using the library for segmentation? Are you using the DevoWorm library? I mean.
Yes. Like right now, I've integrated with the Vinay Bhaiya's library, because the segmentation part that both the libraries are doing are pretty much same when I test on the real data. So like if I think like if I have just given it as a try here, so what I am considering is for the like Vinay has already done the optimizations for like Heroku app for their library. They have created an app and all these things. So the library part where I am going to embed the notebooks, I am going to it just in a second. So this will be completely based on the DevoWorm library. But here, where I am saying just try to get the depth like what we are doing or get the knowledge of what we are doing. I think Vinay model is also working fine. If you want, like I can connect with your model as well.
No, that's not the thing. The thing is like, so you'll be using DevoWorm itself for the website backend.
Yes.
And is this the only model that you'll be hosting, not the other models? Like there are 3 models in total, right? The GAN and the like there are other things.
Yes. So my next question is going to be that. So like you want me to host all these 3 models in the same website, or you want me to host all these 3 models in different websites? Because they are doing different things, right? GAN model is doing somewhat different from what is segmentation is. So
See, it's up to you. Whatever is easy for you. I don't really mind.
yeah,
And
so
it's not me who's deciding. I just made the library. That's it.
So that thing I will decide like in the future. First of all, let's just simply focus on segmentation part. And so like I was on the name of
Yeah.
this thing. So let me just type it down so you can all see. So this is the one kind of name that we can give to this portal.
Okay. Yeah. So you mean just the, yeah, we can decide on that. Why don't you put a list of the different models?
So I would go.
Can you just, like, is it possible to change the name after publishing the website? Ujjwal, is it possible to change the name
Like
after
you
publishing the
have
website just in
like
case?
once you have
Imagine
like
one day.
once you have registered like on the Devo or Yoko app your website with the website domain, then you have to change it. So like I don't really know much, but I think like you have to create a new app again and rename it as something which you want to name your model, and you have to delete the previous. So that's why I need like if we
Okay.
like it is like if we can decide on your name and we can then host it, then it will like make a little bit easier work on.
Why don't you make a table like in Google Docs and then put a link in the DevoWorm channel in Slack. Just every application or every Heroku app you want to put in, and put the name next to it, and then we can decide on finalize the names in there, and then you can go down and implement them in that way.
Yes, I will do that. I will do that. Surely, I will do that.
Okay. All right.
The next thing, last thing that I have been doing is like making the collab notebooks so that can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is my collab notebook visible? Because my
Yes.
screen is
Yes,
free.
it is. Yeah, I can see.
Okay, so they will learn like there's a library that I'm that's the notebooks that I'm creating for the educational purposes, like as discussed in my proposal.
Yeah.
So this is the part of the C.elegant segmentation that we have created. So like I'm going to disable all the editable tabs here. Like right now they are enabled, and going to put all the things like how the things have to be done and all the segmentation and all like, and you don't have to even type anything. Like these are going to take input from you whenever you are running a cell. Like you just have to give the path link, copy paste it, and it will do all the things. So that is the kind of thing that I'm doing. So right now it is still in work, but in the coming weeks I will be like hosting a new repo like notebooks or something, and we can host. I will host all the notebooks that I am aware of in the DevoWorm. So this is another thing from my side.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Like, there's already one notebook out there. Like, I just showed it, right?
Yeah.
Can you, like, you saw one notebook which I made?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So is this something similar to it, Ujjwal?
No. Like you have given like how to use a library. So like the purpose of these notebooks that we have decided earlier is to like give the audience a view like what we are actually doing. So it is more about like leaking all your codes that you have given in the library and making understand the people like yeah you can do this, so they can tweak it and make it more good if someone has some better ideas. And it is not only about C.elegance. Like we have different models with us, like gender segmentation models, spatial areas, and all these things. So it is all about.
So you're making this notebook which explains all of those models, right?
On multiple notebooks, not a single notebook.
Okay. And you're hosting it on another repo. Got it.
Notebooks.repo, yeah, yes, like or some like to get like
or just notebooks. Just notebooks.
Just notebooks, okay.
Yeah, this is another thing we should coordinate on, just to make sure that we have everything organized and links to everything. But yeah, that's good. Thank you, Ujjwal. So yeah, while you were talking, we had a couple of comments in the chat. Vinay says, yeah, both of you are killing it. I wasn't able to do half of this when I was a student. Great work, guys. Then Mayuk said the homepage looks great. Jesse +1 that, and he said, I'm going to look at the Academy items, yes. And he's talking about the DevoWorm Academy. And then he's also said, is there anything specific I should look at? I mean, yeah, for Jesse, yeah, you can look at like the Academy stuff. We also have the group meetings or folder in the repository that we have some outstanding things going on, the open papers and all that. We'll probably on Monday we'll revisit those issues. And then this is Ojwal's thing about the Heroku apps. Susan and Jesse and Krishna joined us during our discussion. So if you missed the first part of the meeting, it'll be on YouTube. I'm going to talk the last 15 minutes here. I'm going to talk about some things that, odds and ends, that we'll probably talk about in the next few meetings more. First of all, I think it was Ujwal who referenced a bibliography, and I don't know if he realizes this or not, but Dick Gordon and I have been working on a bibliography for DevoWorm. So I've been putting that together this week, and I sent it off to Dick yesterday. So the website, if you've seen the DevoWorm website, you know that there's a list of papers and a list of presentations and posters and all sorts of things that we've been doing over the last 6 years. And sometimes in a group like this, we have people doing different things, and there are different strands of things, and it's hard to integrate them all. And so this is an attempt. This will be like in EndNote, so it'll be like a bibliography formatted in different. You can format it in different styles, and you can download it. And this is the start of this bibliography. So this zip folder here contains papers. It contains a list of not only papers from published by the DevoWorm group and posters and presentations, but papers that we've reviewed in the meetings as well. So there are actually quite a few papers that we've reviewed in the meetings, and putting that in all one place would be good. Vinay says I have to go. So thank you, Vinay, for attending. So that's the first item. The second item is Susan sent me some biological chaos papers. And so I know she's I think she's thinking about chaos now for her thesis. And so we have a couple of citations here, which I've added to the bibliography. I'm not going to go into them because we don't have a lot of time today, but we'll talk about them in future meetings. So some of these are about chaos and cortex. Some of these are cardiac chaos, and then applications of chaos theory to biology and medicine. So yeah, I was looking through those. Those are interesting papers. And then we also, I talked a little bit about, I don't know if we've talked about it with Susan or not, but about revisiting the Axolotl Montaging project. And so actually I was looking through those data this week. And one of the things I looked through were some of the steps that they published in the flipping microscope paper, which is a paper that we've talked about in the meeting before. But at the end of the paper, they have a sort of an algorithm that they go through to do this. And it's kind of an odd thing because it's done manually in ImageJ, which is a program that a lot of times biologists will use to do image segmentation. So it's not like machine learning, but they do have algorithms in it that are that are able to process images. But one of the things about that is that these images were being reconstructed manually, and so we have this list of steps that were published in this paper that have been, obviously they haven't successfully generated montaging, but it's sort of like future directions that were put forth in that paper. And so basically what they're doing is they're taking a bunch of images of an embryo, and the embryo is, they put it down on one side, and then they use sort of hydrodynamics to flip the embryo, I guess. Is that right, Susan? It's like
yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, great. Okay. the embryo is bottom heavy, so it self-writes itself.
Okay.
So as it's self-writing itself, you take pictures of the side that's up at that moment. So you get all of the sides of the embryo if you flip it a couple of times in a different rotation. So anyway, you get all of the surface of the sphere using this technique.
Yeah, so we have the data for this, and we have a lot of different embryos. I don't know how many embryos we have in there, but it's like a series of maybe 8 images for a flip. So what you see if you align the images is you see that like the cells are kind of like moving across the image. You know, it looks like if you looked at the Earth as it was rotating and you took pictures of it, you know, the different features on the planet will, you know, appear to move across this disk, but it's really a sphere that's, you know, you're just sampling the surface of that sphere from your vantage point. So that's what you get with this flipping microscope, is you get this sort of surface of the sphere, and you're sampling the entire surface as it's flipping. And so, but what they did for this version of it was they did manual image segmentation. So they sort of defined a circular boundary out of these images, and that was sort of enclosed the embryo, but didn't include, you know, the background. And then those images were aligned so that you can, you know, present them in sequence, so you can actually see the movement of things across the surface. Then it was projected to this 3D projection from a 2-dimensional projection. So you have these flat images that are circular, and then they have to be mapped to a 3-dimensional projection. And then then you have to create a reference frame for that, an XY coordinate system, actually an XY, and also with an angular aspect to it. But that's something that we can talk about more. And then the 3D image is filtered, and then you do some sampling of the space there, and you figure out what the surface should look like. And so that's what was proposed. And I'm not going to solicit opinions about this now, but if people are interested in contributing to this, you know, I'm going to continue working on it. But we should talk about how to do this more effectively. And I'm not sure, you know, what the best way to do this is, the state of the art and so forth. But this is something that we can eventually include in some of the other image processing tools that we have now. This is for Axolotl, so this is a bit different. This is a different embryo. This is a different species. But I think we can do this. I don't know.
It would also work for Xenopus, because Xenopus around in any amphibian embryo would work this way too.
Okay.
And I am hoping to make a ball microscope so that you don't have to flip the embryo, so you just have it stationary and take pictures from all sides. So it's still a surface problem, but maybe not as complicated.
Yeah. I think once we figure out the technical aspect of it, I mean, any embryo, and I guess Dick was saying the advantage of Axolotl was that it's transparent, or the surface is transparent.
No, it's the layer that develops into the brain is right on the surface, and you can see it. Other embryos have that layer below another cell layer, and you can't see it.
Oh, okay.
At least with a visual microscope. I'm working with infrared light now, and you can see it, the second layer with the infrared light, but not with regular light.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean that's something that we'll be working on in future meetings, and I don't, you know, I just kind of outlined it here, but I'll make that more available in the coming weeks. And then finally, we have, I don't want to get into the papers today, but we have some papers in our reading queue that are, you know, they're pretty interesting, but I wanted to give people an opportunity to, maybe if they wanted to present something, if Susan wants to present on biological chaos, or perhaps if Jesse wants to present something, or Krishna, here's the Drive folder that we have this stuff in. So if you want to take a look at that stuff, you can. I don't know if Krishna, are you planning? You were talking one time about presenting something in the group. Are you still interested in that?
Hello.
Hi.
I can't present today.
Well, yeah.
Actually, I'm outside, not having my laptop.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
So
hi.
maybe some other time.
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering if, in the next couple weeks, if you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, those are examples in that folder, or anything you want to present. Krishna actually produced some tutorials for the Neuromatch Academy. That this was during the Academy itself that he pushed to another repository. So, congratulations on that. It was actually on coding. So it was a coding exercise that he did a tutorial for. So if you're interested in that, I can I'll actually maybe make that public to the group in the group email this week. So and Jesse, welcome back. I know you've been busy with Neuromatch. So again, Jesse, if there are things you want to do, we have the group meetings. We have a board and then the repository, so you can look through that, and if you want to bring something up, that's fine.
Yeah, I look at the board. I've been away in Neuromatch land for a while. And it's a busy time with a lot of stuff going on and get forthcoming. It's not quite grad school season application yet. So I have this kind of interim time between that starting up and everything else. So there are things I definitely want to do, and a lot of projects that are spanning between this and other orthogonal lab stuff. So I think I will present more soon. I also wanted to mention I looked in the Google Drive just now, and I think I posted it in orthogonal Slack, but the one about the biological, kind of a different take on biology. What was it called? Scale-free biology integrating evolutionary and developmental thinking.
Oh, yeah.
That seems particularly relevant. So I don't know if that's mentioned here, but that's something that I would look at for sure in the future.
Yeah, I think I have it in another folder for another group. But I mean, we could definitely, if you want to present it here, that would be great.
Yeah, and I think this weekend and this week, this has kind of been I would say recovery week, but not really. It's been a recovery from not doing major stuff, but it's also kind of just reorienting. I kind of mentioned that to you before, I think. But as far as DevoWorm updates, the presentations earlier today were great, and I look forward to kind of helping out with those things how I can, because I would, the DevoLearn and what's coming along with that is really great. I may extend into some other things that I mentioned, like in the season of doc stuff, actually. So it's cool to see that developing. But yeah, I'm going to go through the boards and kind of pick out a bunch of stuff and go from there. So probably more to say next week.
Okay. Well, it sounds good. Well, thank you everyone for attending. We've gone over our hour, but that's fine. Thank you again to Mayok and Ujwal for their great contributions, and we'll be making this go public soon, next couple of weeks. So, kind of maybe we'll preview it a little bit on Twitter, and then we'll have a formal launch of it at some when we're sort of at the end of GSoC, I think. Okay, so thank you, everyone. And we'll be meeting this Monday. I had to move the meeting this week, but we'll be going back to our regular meeting time, and I'll send out an email today about that. Thank you. Have a good week.
Okay.
Or a couple days. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.